used to think that top-level theming brought in top-level expenses. Disney and Universal provide incredible theming to their parks, but at an extreme cost. It was until I visited a park that arguably does theming better than either one at a fraction of the cost. Phantasialand, a family-run park just outside of Cologne, Germany, brings their A-game when it comes to immersion, theming, and creating innovative attractions. So join me as we ask the question, is Phantasialand truly one of the best theme parks in the world? Located just outside of Cologne, Germany, Phantasialand is located in the town of Brühl and is easily accessible via car, and most importantly, public transit. From Cologne, you take line number 18 out to Brühl Mitte Station and wait for the shuttle that will be run by the park. As of 2025, it is €5 round trip and is cash only. One of the many strengths Phantasialand has is just how simple the park layout is. Emerging from the main entrance, Berlin is essentially their main street, with a branch off to Ruchberg and Fly, but other than that, for the most part you get to the swings and take either a left or a right. You'll find that every inch of the park is utilized, squeezing in attractions everywhere you look. However, it is impressive and important to note that while all the attractions are very close together, for the most part each of the lands are distinctively separated, adding to the immersion each land is trying to convey. Just like any theme or amusement park, the most important aspect is the attractions, something Phantasialand excels at with tons of unique and one-of-a-kind attractions in its small layout. Like many parks, you want to be strategic to where you head first, either due to capacity issues or overall popularity. For Phantasialand, well, if you're searching for credits, hitting up Crazy Bats might be the smart move. I honestly didn't care, and going to one of their two headliners always seems to be my go-to, FLY or Fly. Fly is truly a marvel to look at as it twists above and around you in the magnificent looking Ruchberg. The whole land feels alive with steam pouring out of so many corners. This is truly one of the most detailed lands in the theme park industry, giving giants like Disney and Universal a run for their money. The ride itself is incredible, truly nailing that feeling of giving humans the ability of flight as you go through 2 launches and multiple moments of decently strong positive G's and pops of airtime, which is truly one of the strangest moments in the flying position. Fly is an absolute staple of incredible showmanship and bringing a one-of-a-kind ride to life, truly one of my all-time favorite coasters. The next heavy hitter to Phantasialand is their incredible Intamin multi-launch coaster, Terran. Just like Fly, Terran utilizes an incredible theming to make an incredibly immersive experience as you fly through the town of Klugheim. With track twisting around everywhere, you truly have no idea where Terran is heading to next. As for the ride itself, the 2 launches are punchy and incredible. Going through that trench hitting 72 miles an hour down low and past a waterfall is one of the best coaster experiences out there. The airtime is fantastic, with strong floater and ejector airtime sprinkled throughout the layout. The final standout of the coaster is the amazing transitions from side to side that Intamin has perfected over the years. While not as intense as Maverick, the side-to-side motion in just a lap bar gives excellent pops of airtime. Terran's rides are typically incredible. It is noted that during colder months such as during Winterum, Terran does give a slightly weaker ride. Nevertheless, Terran is a blast as it winds through the incredibly detailed town of Klugheim. The next major headliner for Phantasialand is their small but incredibly compact B&M invert, Black Mamba. Only standing 85 feet tall, Black Mamba, like all major attractions at Phantasialand, is so incredibly well themed, with the coaster diving into trenches with waterfalls and incredible rockwork surrounding you on all sides. This little thing packs a major punch and is truly one of the best B&M inverts out there. Phantasialand is mainly known for their 3 main headliner coasters, but others are still excellent in their own right. Colorado Adventure may look like a simple Big Thunder Mountain Railroad knockoff, but this packs way more punch than any of the US version. Filled with airtime, great laterals, and a nice long ride, Colorado Adventure is for sure more than meets the eye. Windja, Fear, and Force are 2 Mauer spinning coasters with some fantastic surprises that once again elevate the coaster to a much higher standard that you maybe were first expecting. The only coaster that doesn't seem to hit the mark is Crazy Bats, which uses VR for this long indoor roller coaster. While not a bad ride, the VR is interesting and just seems to be a bandage for an aging attraction until it's time to join the chopping block of Phantasialand's next major expansion. While Phantasialand has some outstanding coasters, you could easily argue their non-coaster attractions are just as good as their top headliners. First is frankly the greatest water ride in the world, and I have ranked higher than several other prestigious coasters, Chiapas. This long flume is filled with incredible theming, tons of surprises that I would prefer to keep a surprise for those who haven't ridden yet, and ends with the world's steepest drop going into an airtime hill that actually delivers airtime on a log flume. I don't care if it's January and snowing, get onto Chiapas if you are at Phantasialand. Right next door is one of the most intense flat rides I've ever ridden, the incredibly well-themed Huss Topspin Talican. Talocan, just like pretty much everything at Phantasialand, is filled with incredible theming, water, and fire effects, and is an extremely intense experience. Even the non-thrilling attractions at Phantasialand are top-notch. River Quest, while overshadowed by Chiapas, is another world-class water ride. Mystery Castle is a well-themed instrument drop ride, and Das Verrückt Hotel Taruf is an amazing walkthrough attraction that resembles a funhouse you'd find at a country fair. Even with the swings at the center of the park are a must-do thanks to the water effects below you. This park has it all, and combined with their coasters and non-coaster collections, it's hard to find a better collection overall anywhere in the world. While never a crucial aspect to a park, but always a nice way to elevate a park experience is the food. Phantasialand has great food at most locations. More on that in a second. However, I find most offerings were well above average to fantastic. The pizza on Main Street is far from your typical theme park pizza. More of a Sicilian style you can tell is higher quality. Currywurst, a fantastic staple of the region, is another fantastic thing to grab on Main Street. The sweets hit the spot, especially their churros, which are, dare I say, better than Disneyland's. If you're looking for more of a sit-down experience at a little bit higher cost, Urwerk by Fly has incredible burgers, easily the best thing in the park. While most things are wonderful, you can find a few duds, especially if you're traveling from the United States. The golden rule while traveling in Europe is don't eat the Mexican food. That still applies at Phantasialand, where they have the most bizarre and unappetizing burritos I've ever had. But once again, overall the food at Phantasialand is fantastic. One important question for any park is, how much time should you allocate to visiting it? Phantasialand is footprint-wise a small park, which makes getting around it extremely easy. Along with having a decent amount of attractions, but overall not a ton, it is very doable to do Phantasialand in a single day. However, I personally recommend dedicating 2 full days so you can explore all the attractions the park has to offer, find hidden areas you might not find otherwise, and to get multiple rides on the world-class attractions. Phantasialand does have a quick queue system, however, it's set up to purchase for one attraction at a time. If you visit on a reasonable day, which out of the 4 days I've spent in this park over the past few years, I have never experienced a busy enough day where I felt I needed to buy the quick queue system. Part of the reason you most likely won't need to purchase a quick queue outside of the busiest days is due to Phantasialand having outstanding operations. Most attractions were built with capacity in mind. Fly alone runs 4 20-passenger trains. Along with the rest of the attractions, when there is a line outside of a few low-capacity attractions, Phantasialand keeps the line moving and keeps the waits at a minimum. Now, if you're coming from the US, you might not be used to the shorter operating hours that European theme parks tend to have. Most of the operating year, the park opens around 10 a.m. and closes around 6 p.m. Phantasialand does something unique where the park officially opens an hour before this, but the attractions don't actually open till 10. However, they can get open sooner if they are ready. Now, one big exception for this early closing time is during the park's winter event, Vinterum. Operating from November through January, the park opens around 11 a.m. but stays open till 8 p.m. With the sun setting at 4:30 that time of year, you get to see the incredible decorations and amazing light shows the park has to offer. Plus, this is the only time of year you get to experience the incredible night rides and see how incredibly well Phantasialand is lit up at night. Nearly all attractions are operating during Vinterum. Even Chiapas will run, even if it's snowing. If I had to pick between visiting during the summer and Vinterum, it's an easy choice for me for one of the best winter events in any park in the world. Another important aspect to visiting a theme park is just how much is it going to cost you. For Phantasialand, it's hard to find a better value for a quality experience anywhere in the world. As I alluded to at the beginning, I used to think high levels of theming meant a higher price to entry as it would go up drastically. Even on the most expensive days, a day ticket to Phantasialand is 78 euros, which is half the cost of a typical day at Disney or a Universal park. With prices going as low as 28 euros, typically a day at Phantasialand is around 50 euros. You could find even better deals if you're staying on their on-site hotels, but we'll go into that a little bit later. Food prices are also very reasonable, especially for snacks. Full meals are around 15 euros, which is typical for theme park prices, but the snacks are truly exceptional. 3 euros for a milkshake, 6 euros for a large bucket of churros, and best of all, 5 euros for a half liter of incredible German beer. There truly aren't many places, if any, that have a better value all around. One final note to go into before final scores is something I don't usually touch up on, but in my opinion, it is necessary for Phantasialand. Their hotels. Phantasialand has 3 on-site hotels: Hotel Lingbao, Hotel Matamba, and their newest, Hotel Charles Lindbergh. The big advantage to all 3 is they are all connected to the park with private entrances into their respective lands. Hotel Lingbao is an Asian-themed hotel, and like all 3 has excellent high-quality rooms. Hotel Charles Lindbergh is the newest hotel, accompanying Rückberg and Fly, with small pods providing a unique experience, including the only way to get quick queue for Fly. Finally, the hotel I've stayed at both times is Hotel Matamba, an African-themed hotel overlooking Black Mamba. Each hotel has quick queue perks, where for each night you stay, you get a set of quick queue for specific attractions. Also, each hotel will at least include breakfast, while Hotel Charles Lindbergh also includes dinner as well. My most recent stay in December of 2025 just goes to show how reasonable the prices are for staying at these highly themed and convenient rooms. On a weekday in early December, my grand total at Hotel Matamba for one night and 2 days for park tickets for 3 people was just over $500 for everything, with about $250 being for the room itself. So while you can technically find off-site hotels for a cheaper price, the convenience, amenities, and high-quality rooms and well-theming is well worth the extra cost. Now, let's get into my final thoughts on Phantasialand. Areas I think for improvement and overall scores. Roller Coaster Rundown is a weighted average of scores where attractions are 40%, operations are 20%, park presentation is 15%, food also gets 15%, and overall value gets 10%, combining together to give a final score. First up is the most important category where Phantasialand flat out knocks it straight out of the park, attractions. There aren't many places that have such incredible mix of high thrill coasters, family attractions, water rides, highly themed thrill rides, and incredible shows, especially in such a small footprint. Most people will travel far and wide for their 1-2 punch of Terran and Fly, and they too truly deserve the recognition it gets. But the other parts all come together to be such a truly special place. Even though I know something as mind-blowing as Chiapas, Terran, and Fly is on the horizon to make this park even better, even as it stands today, Phantasialand easily deserves the perfect score of 10 out of 10 for its attraction lineup. Park presentation is the next area where Phantasialand shines extremely bright. Walking around this park, especially in the newest areas, feels like you are in someone's Planet Coaster park in sandbox mode with unlimited budget. Everything is immaculate from the moment you step foot into the front gates to each land telling a story in its presentation. Rookburg and Klugheim are truly some of the best theme park lands in the world, going toe-to-toe with giants like Galaxy's Edge and the wizarding world of Harry Potter. These places truly feel alive with their incredible rock work, special effects, down to the steam billowing out of Rookburg, making the land feel like it's breathing. Once again, Phantasialand scores another perfect 10 out of 10. Food is another strong point for Phantasialand. While not as strong as the first 2 points, you can find some fantastic meals in the park. From excellent pizza, local currywurst, excellent treats, and if you're wanting to spend a little extra on a sit-down experience, fantastic burgers in Rookburg. Phantasialand scores a strong 9.6 out of 10. Operations once again is another strong point for Phantasialand. With most attractions operating at high throughputs, I never found lines to be too long either of my visits in the park. Even when there are some decent crowds in the park, the line still moves at a quick pace, keeping the wait times reasonable. While not as quite of a high bar as its neighbor Europa Park, Phantasialand still scores a respectable 9.6 out of 10. Finally, we have value, where to be frank, you're going to struggle to find a better value anywhere in the world. From park tickets typically hovering around a reasonable 50 euros, meals and especially snacks being incredibly cheap for a theme park, and of course, you cannot forget half the reason I travel to Germany. The amazing beer is so cheap. It's hard not to down a liter or two before getting in line for Terran. Phantasialand finishes out strong with one final note of another perfect score, 10 out of 10. With that final note, Phantasialand gets a roller coaster rundown of 9.9 out of 10, and currently ranked my favorite park in the world out of 41 parks I have visited. It's hard to believe that arguably the best park in the world is just in the middle of the Cologne suburbs, but the family in charge of this incredible park keeps making all the right decisions. The quality is exceptional with immersive theming everywhere you look. I first visited in 2023 and could not wait to get back to this incredible place, with me returning in 2025 to find I love the park even more than I did in my first visit. No matter where you are, you need to make sure Phantasialand is near the top of your list of parks to visit. It is truly something special. Well, what do you think? Comment down below if you agree, disagree, or maybe there's something I missed in my review. And if you're new here, consider subscribing to Park Productions to find more fun reviews, vlogs, and ranking videos throughout the theme and amusement park industry. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey, so some quick updates actually about the channel in general. Thanks for watching the review on Phantasialand, my personal favorite theme park, but we've got some big updates going on. One of the things that I might have alluded to on the channel that you might have saw before, not in a video, is I am actually going to have an incredible opportunity to continue on with Delta Airlines as a flight attendant. Now, the reason why that's going to affect the channel is because while I will be traveling to lots more places in the future, in the short term, I've got to do 7 weeks of training for in-flight in Atlanta. So as a result, it's going to be a little quiet on the channel for a little bit. So as we go through that in-flight training, I will be down there for Six Flags Over Georgia to go get my second visit there. And I'm thinking of the idea of maybe hitting 100 laps on Air Force One before I graduate. That might be a fun video idea, but as for the year in total, well, yeah, it's going to be a little slow for about 2 months. As soon as I get back, Kings Island's going to be opening up for the season with their brand new attraction. And as well, we have a lot of things planned for the summer. You know, going to many parks like returning to Cedar Point, plus as well, making sure doing a big trip by going up to Kennywood for my first visit, Waldameer to ride Reed Flyer 2, and returning to Canada's Wonderland for the first time since 2013. So, quite a bit to look forward to. Plus, I'm really going to try to squeeze in a Six Flags Qiddiya trip later this year as once it cools down in the end of the year. So that might be the big one there. But along with other things, who knows what will entail as I travel around the country and world as a Delta flight attendant. So keep an eye out for all the new updates and everything. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.